My beloved Madridistas, welcome back. Wow, what a performance. Boy, we've got a lot to talk about. This was an incredible second half. We have so much to discuss. Okay, the first of the 7 trophies that Real Madrid was hoping to win, the first one is in the bag. They're going to have to make more room at the Bernabeu in the trophy museum because this is just getting out of control. Real Madrid is now the first club to reach 6 European Supercups. That record also applies to Ancelotti, Carvajal, Luka Modric. They're just writing history now. Ancelotti now has tied Miguel Muñoz for the manager at Real Madrid with the most titles, I think 14. Again, Ancelotti breaking records as well. Real Madrid has now won 20 of the last 22 finals that the club has appeared in. This is absolutely monstrous. I challenge anyone to find anybody in the world of sports, any club with a winning track record in finals like this. It's absolutely staggering. But listen, we're going to discuss the match. 2 very, very different sides. The first half had nothing to do with the second half. So we'll talk about the good and the bad. And then we'll just do a very quick overview of the players individually because there were some very noteworthy individual performances. But listen, we got a small taste of what we could be enjoying this year, and man, it is mouth-watering. This is going to be a fabulous year. I'm so excited. But listen, let's talk about the Super Cup, the first trophy of the year. Thanks for joining me. Let's get started. All right, Madridistas, welcome back. Okay, let's talk about this Super Cup final. Amazing. Okay, now this was a tale of 2 very, very different halves, okay? The first half, first of all, I will mention this, the pitch was very slow. The grass, I don't know if it was too dry or a little bit too high, but it felt a bit slow. In some of those long passes, the ball would seem to slow down quite quickly when it was rolling on the pitch. So I don't know if that had a bit of something to do with it, but the first half felt very, very, very slow. In the first minute, Real Madrid tried to sort of be on the front foot. There were some, reasonably good long passes, and Real Madrid was sort of trying to be on the front foot. In the 14th minute, Fede had a very good chance that was missed. In the 15th minute, a wonderful pass by Vini to Jude. Vini's passing is something that we need to discuss because his passing has improved incredibly. But I would say that in the first sort of 15 minutes, Real Madrid kind of trying to be on the front foot, but not very convincingly. And then at around the 14th, 15th, 16th minute, Atalanta started to really grow into the match. Okay, they started to have much, much longer possessions. Real Madrid was really struggling to recover the ball. We weren't pressing very aggressively. There was a kind of tentativeness in our defensive posture. We were sort of positioned well, but we weren't making that extra effort to get the ball back. Atalanta started to really enjoy those longer spells of possession, passing the ball with relative ease. Like I say, they weren't under much pressure. And then, when we did recover the ball, we had a very hard time playing the ball out. And more often than not, in that first half, Courtois was, had no choice but to play the ball long. Half of those balls, obviously, we're not going to recover. But really, it was a function of just not being able to play the ball out. And I can tell you that in the first half, I was thinking the whole time, damn it, where's Toni Kroos? Because this is exactly what Toni would provide us consistently, is the outlet ball, getting the ball out of the defensive line into the midfield and into play, connecting the forwards with the defense. That is something that Toni Kroos was so good at. And then, of course, he could receive the ball, sort of just in front of the defense and could turn around and make these incredible 50-meter diagonal passes. Okay, we don't have that option anymore. And in the first half yesterday, we really felt it. I think Tchouaméni had a very, very poor first half. He just wasn't where he needed to be. As we were taking the ball out, from the defensive line, there was always a massive patch of grass right in front of the defensive line, but nobody in it. So, Tchouaméni was not coming back. He wasn't in the right place to oxygenate the outlet balls. And we really, really struggled with that in the first half. I would say overall just a very frustrating first half. In the 24th minute, Atalanta hit the crossbar. It was kind of a random play, but it was a sort of a warning sign of what was happening on the pitch. And again, just very frustrating. When Real Madrid recovered the ball, you could just kind of see the players looking around, not very sure of what to do. There wasn't a lot of like automatic reflexive transition play. There was a bit of paralysis, a bit of confusion, and it was just really, really hard to watch. Now the first half ended with a good chance by Rodrigo, which he missed. But it was a very, very poor first half. I mean, these players looked very, very disjointed. They looked a little bit lost. And then in the second half, everything changed. For starters, in the first few minutes, you had Kylian actually went off to the left. It was the first time in the match that we really saw Kylian sort of move over to the left. But then importantly, Jude started to appear in all different parts of the pitch. Jude really became the link between the defensive line and the forwards. His mobility increased tremendously. All of a sudden, Jude was receiving balls absolutely everywhere. He was protecting the ball very well, distributing the ball very well. All of a sudden, Real Madrid was circulating the ball with much greater speed, and I think that affected Atalanta quite a bit. And at this point, Real Madrid started to create danger. But we were recovering the ball more quickly. We were having less trouble getting the ball out into play from the back. And like I say, Jude started to really take over this match. This was one of the most impressive halves of football I've seen Jude play. This was the most Zizou-esque performance that I've seen from him. And listen, we have compared him to Zizou in the past because Zizou is one of my favorite players of all time. And this ability to play on a swivel where you can turn 360 degrees in either direction in a completely unpredictable way, that kind of balance that is something that Zizou specialized in. Jude has a lot of that. He was protecting the ball incredibly well, dribbling through players, passing the ball with incredible vision. Jude also has that physicality that just when you think he's going to lose the ball, just when you think he can't quite get there, when you think he might be a step too slow or just not have the energy to fend off that last defender, he did. He managed to do it every single time. It was just an extraordinary display of technique and physical strength and vision. It was just an extraordinary second half by Jude. I think the best I've seen him play since he's arrived. And then, of course, in the 59th minute, Vini as well. What a performance by Vini. I mean, this guy, in the 59th minute, he absolutely smokes his defender. Just a quick turn, a quick dribble, but that unbelievable acceleration. He leaves the defender behind him, has the maturity to raise his head and look and see where the ball needs to go. And he finds Fede right at the goal line. A fantastic play by Vini. I think Vini had a spectacular second half as well. And then in the 60th minute, shortly after the goal, Jude just had a beautiful threaded pass to Vini right down the middle. And Vini, the goalkeeper saved it. Would have been a spectacular goal. But again, what you start to see in the second half this is what I mean by mouthwatering. You start to see Vini and Kylian and Jude connecting, passing quickly, moving off the ball, instinctively playing off each other, creating so much danger. And then in the 67th minute, I mean, this was just a goal made in heaven. Rodrigo steals a ball, hands it over to Vini. Vini makes a run, crosses a bit too long. Jude recovers the ball, lifts his head, gets the ball to Kylian, who does what he knows how to do best, which is to finish. Putting us up 2-0. So look, the second half of this match gave us a glimpse of what this team is capable of and the talent that we have. It's an absolutely mouth-watering proposition. And you guys, I'm really excited about this year because we have quality coming out of our ears, and it's just going to be amazing to watch. So again, there you go. A game of two halves, but in the end, I think we showed what we're capable of, and it's just hopefully an omen of things to come. Now, just in terms of players individually, and let's just run through it very quickly. I mean, Courtois, I think, played well. He didn't have to intervene very much, but he had that one very critical save off the header that, at that point, the match was 0-0. It could have gone in a different direction. It was a beautiful save by Courtois, stretching out, and I thought it was a fantastic save. So he didn't have much to do, but when called upon, he did a great job. So very happy with Courtois. Mendy, I think, played defensively a very solid match. He does tend to sometimes risk the ball a little bit in defensive positions. He tends to kind of over dribble sometimes in compromising positions. That's just a habit that he has, which I've mentioned on this channel before. But I think overall had a very good defensive match. Carvajal, is the stallion he always is. Very high energy, very intense. He was a little bit slow on a couple of occasions, and his attackers did get away from him on a couple of occasions. And I attribute this to just maybe a little bit of early season rust. But I think overall, Carvajal, we need to be happy with him. His intensity is always there. I think it's just a matter of fine tuning. Okay, Militao, I thought improved. I think he showed a lot of improvement. His placement was good. I thought he was in the right place at the right time. He looked a little bit quicker. I wouldn't say he had a spectacular game, but I think he had a very, very solid game. And I think in terms of progression, I think Militao is moving in the right direction. So I was very encouraged by that. Rudiger always plays brilliantly. He's always quick. He's always resounding. He's always the last bastion of defense. And he's always just uncompromising. So he's a permanent guarantee in that defensive line. So Rudiger, I think, had a fabulous match. Okay, Tchouaméni was, I think, kind of the weakest link in the match. He did a little bit better in the second half, but I do think Tchouaméni in that pivot position was a little bit disappointing. He wasn't really, especially in the first half, didn't do anything to glue the team together, which is a critical function in that pivot position. We struggled to get the ball out, I think, because Tchouaméni's placement on the pitch was not the right one. So I think Tchouaméni, had a reasonably poor match. Fede, I think, had a fantastic match. Valverde is just such a consistent player. I mean, it's very rare that you say that Fede hasn't had a good game. He ran a lot. It was very reminiscent. He had a couple of runs that I thought was quite funny because it reminded me of an interview with Toni Kroos about 3 years ago. And they were asking Tony about Fede. And he goes, Fede is wonderful. We love Fede. Whenever he doesn't know what to do, he just starts running forward. And it's kind of funny because we did see a couple of those runs where Fede looks around, doesn't know what to do. So he goes, what the hell? I'll just start sprinting forward. But I love it when he does that because he does split the opposing midfield, and he's a fantastic runner with the ball. I thought Fede had a very, very good all-around match. He's probably the third best player on the team in my view. Okay, Jude, this was a work of art. I think Jude, as I've mentioned, Jude's second half should be in the Prado, okay? There should be a video screen in the Prado. There should be in a museum for all to observe. That was one of the most spectacular second halves of football, one of the most dominant, intelligent performances I've seen. Jude was just magnificent. And if he plays like this, he will be a Ballon d'Or very soon. Okay, Rodrigo, I think of the front three men, he probably had the most unfortunate evening in front of goal. Had a couple of chances that he could have done more with, but he did work very hard. He's always got that quickness, loves to take defenders on, and I thought he had a good match. Not quite as spectacular as the others, but I thought he had a fairly solid match. Okay, Vini, I thought Vini was wonderful. Vini is just his technique, his dribbling, and now his passing have just made him the most lethal player in the world. I think right now, pound for pound, there's not a player in the world that creates as much danger as Vini. He's a joy to watch. If you're somebody that appreciates technique and skill, raw skill on the ball, which I do, Vini is just a pleasure to watch. I think Vini is our Ballon d'Or. He needs to win it. Right now, he is the best player in the world. Right now, I think he's the best player in the world. Kylian's still kind of warming up, but I think Vini was just fantastic. And then Kylian, I think Kylian, he's still adapting. He's still kind of adapting to this new role, adapting to his new teammates. But I thought he played very well. He started to connect in the second half, connect very, very well in terms of passing with Jude and Vini. The movement was very good. And I think as they get more used to playing together and kind of rotating their positions, I think he's going to do very, very well. So I think Kylian had a very, very solid match, and of course scored, which which is what you would expect from Kylian. So listen, I don't know what to say. This is going to be an amazing year. I'm so excited. I think we're going to have a blast this year. I really do. So listen, I'm going to, be doing a preview of La Liga coming up. I'm going to invite someone to join me on the channel and have a sort of extended chat about what to expect this year, which should be a lot of fun. But again, we're going to have a blast this year. So thank you for joining me. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. But let's enjoy this trophy because they all count. All right. Thanks for joining me. Love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. A la Madrid.